Hey y'all, Deep Ridge Forge. Just want to give you a quick review of this Vivor Chinese cast steel Achio anvil. This is the 66-pound version. I bought this about 3 years ago, shortly after the pandemic hit. Had a little bit of time in the garage, figure I'd get into some more serious smithing. It's been pretty hard use. You can see all my apprentice marks on here. A lot of them gouged pretty deep. Still don't know what I'm doing, but it's a lot of fun. So this anvil, again, weighs 66 pounds. It's mounted on just a big old thing of Osage here in my garage. And my primary working hammer for the last few years has been this 4-pound cobalt that I just kind of rounded on one side, flattened on the other. There's really not much to it, y'all. It's got a, I believe, 5/8 Pritchell and a 1/2-inch Hardy. I haven't made any tools for these yet. They don't really get in the way of what I try and do. It's just mainly for knife making and a few trinkets here and there. But I have done some hard use forging on this thing. This pair of tongs over here was made from 1-inch by 1/2-inch, and they make pretty good pickup tongs, but slamming my 4-pound hammer against this, it held up just fine. When I got it, I broke the corners, rounded them up pretty good, left them a little bit sharp on this near side here, and this back side, because this is the primary working face, is from here to here, but rounded these off real nice and well. Horn doesn't get that much use because I rounded this over, but when I do make bends for hooks and such, it's not too bad. Or when I'm trying to finagle my way around a handle and get the geometry just right to make it a little bit more ergonomic, it's decent. It does ring pretty loud. It's got a nice little sing to it. I've tried to place magnets up on this underside here. Unless they're big and heavy duty, it's just not going to work. Especially if you're swinging your hammer as hard as I am most of the time, which probably wouldn't advise. Again, I am a novice. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But if you put some magnets under here, stack them up, get nice big welding magnets, should be all right. This thing has seen its fair use of wear and tear thus far. I've made a good number of knives and such with it. I've got some really disgusting stuff and crud on it. A bunch of sweat literally caked on this, so that's why it's rusted. It is currently 104 degrees at 9 p.m. here in Texas, so the sweat comes off hard, and it's right next to the forge. So the ambient temperature right here is pretty high most of the time. But with that being said, this has been a really good investment as far as getting me into a level of forging that I am comfortable with. I was $133, I believe, shipped over from China from eBay, but I know Vivor has been the common go-to for this now. Like if I could clean this off and really show, it's got all kinds of nicks and dings and dunks in there from where I've missed hit and everything. Yeah, look at all this. That tells you what kind of hammer control I don't have. All right, look at that, disgusting. But again, the name of the game is get in and get started. So if you're just trying to get started like I was, this is a really good investment, I think. It didn't take me too much complaining to the wife to be able to get one and bring it into the garage. Now her main complaint is that the garage is always filled with forge scale. But it is what it is. It's the only place we got for it right now. So until I can get another investment going and get it outbuilding, I mean, this is what it is. But again, name of the game, getting started. This is a great place to get started. For $133 and 3 weeks of waiting, it's really not too bad. In that time, you could work a couple overtime shifts at your job, sell off a couple things, and recoup the value of what you just spent. Like, it's not that difficult. That's why I like it. That's why I think it is good, especially for us newbies that are getting it started, figuring out forging is what we want to do or how we want to spend our time away from our family. It's better than sitting in front of the TV most of the time. So this is a good way to go about it. I will say this anvil, as good as it has been, the feet are kind of a pain to deal with getting it mounted. I've got it silicone to this and then some just screws in this chain screwed into the log, but not a lot of people have a big Osage log like this. Here where I am in Texas, Osage is pretty common. There was a development going behind us. This thing weighed about 120 pounds, so I mean damn near double of the anvil, and it worked really, really well as a base until I hit and started cracking it. I mean, this base is garbage now because it's got this big old crack running through it, but can still use it for mass. Initially, I had this mounted on a 5-gallon bucket filled with concrete. That worked pretty well. It just kept breaking from the silicone and moving around, so I needed a bit more of a permanent place to put it. Again, this is a good place to start if that's what you're trying to do like I was. It'll eat up your dings and everything like that, so when you save up for that Nimba Titan like everybody needs to, you can get that 120 pounder in here, or the Gladiator Centurion, or the Holland, or the Oaklawn, whatever you want. This is a great place to start to figure out if you even need to upgrade, honestly. Because if all you're doing is, smaller knives, even, larger chef's knives or stuff like that, this can all be done. But if you're going to be going into this professionally and you need more of a workhorse, not something that's going to be eating up a lot of apprentice marks like this, then obviously look into that first, figure out your budget. But this is a great place to start, and I'm glad I did. So I hope that was helpful. Again, this is just my unprofessional opinion from a novice who still is trying to figure this whole thing out. But hope that was helpful. Like, share, subscribe if you want. Have a good one, y'all.